Well, if you missed my Gemini videos, here we go.
Welcome back to the Wendy Williams Show. Wendy's voice boomed, her audience cheering wildly. Today, we have a very special guest, all the way from TikTok, the one and only, Terry Joe. The camera panned to Terry Joe, who sashayed onto the set in a full-length sequin gown, her signature blonde wig perfectly coiffed. The audience erupted again, and Terry blew kisses to the crowd before taking her seat opposite Wendy. "Terry, honey, it is so good to have you in Jump City," Wendy exclaimed, leaning forward. "Now, everyone wants to know, how are you liking it here? Have you tried the famous Jump City bagels yet?" Terry Joe batted her eyelashes. "Well, Wendy, it's certainly a vibrant place. And darling, I've been so busy, I haven't had a moment for a bagel. My schedule, it's just packed with important business." She winked at the camera. Wendy chuckled. "Oh, I know all about a busy schedule, girl. But let's get down to it. Your fans are dying to know. What's next for Terry Joe?
Nothing.
Any new ventures, any drama we should be looking out for?" Terry Joe leaned back, a sly smile playing on her lips. "Well, Wendy, you know I love to keep my loyal followers on their toes. Let's just say, there's a certain project in the works. Something that will truly redefine entertainment as we know it. And as for drama, darling, where Terry Joe goes, a little bit of spice is always sure to follow." The audience roared with laughter and applause as Wendy threw her head back, clearly enjoying the exchange. You heard it here first, folks. Terry Joe is cooking up something big. We'll be right back after this break.
Hers. She needs help. There you go. Gotta take Starfire.
As Wendy threw to commercial, a sudden, ominous purple glow filled the studio. The audience gasped, and Terry Joe, mid-sip of her sparkling water, nearly choked. A figure descended from the ceiling, landing with a dramatic flourish on the stage. It was Blackfire, Starfire's older sister, her dark, flowing hair and menacing grin instantly recognizable. "Terry Joe, darling." Blackfire purred, her eyes fixed on the TikTok star. "I've been watching your broadcasts. Utterly captivating. I'm your biggest fan." Terry Joe, for once, was speechless. Her jaw hung open, and her perfectly coiffed wig seemed to droop slightly. Wendy Williams, however, was already reacting. Her eyes, wide with a fear rarely seen on national television, darted from Blackfire to Terry Joe. Who is that?" Wendy shrieked, scrambling out of her chair. Without another word, she hiked up her gown and sprinted towards the backstage exit, a frantic, "We'll be right back," echoing behind her as the curtain swallowed her up. As soon as she was out of sight, Wendy fumbled for her phone, her fingers trembling as she typed a desperate message. "Starfire, code red, big sister alert. She's here at the studio. Get here now. Help." She hit send with a shaky thumb, hoping against hope that her friend would arrive before Blackfire decided to redecorate the set with actual laser blasts. Meanwhile, Blackfire, oblivious to Wendy's panicked escape, was now circling Terry Joe, who sat frozen in her seat, a terrified smile plastered on her face. "You know," Blackfire continued, a dangerous glint in her eye, "your ability to captivate the masses with such subtlety is truly impressive. Perhaps you could teach me a few things about manipulating an audience."
Yeah, we're gonna have to do something.
Terry Jo, still wide-eyed but quickly regaining her composure, saw an opportunity. "Darling," she began, her voice a little shaky but growing stronger, "I can teach you how to make a truly huge following on TikTok and YouTube. Think of the power, the influence. You'll be unstoppable, a true social media icon." Blackfire's menacing expression softened slightly, replaced by a flicker of intrigue. "Really?" she mused, a dangerous sparkle in her eyes. "You could teach me to command such devotion? Cool. I would love to learn." She extended a hand towards Terry Jo, an almost smile playing on her lips. Just as Terry Jo tentatively reached out to shake Blackfire's hand, a blur of orange and green burst through the back wall of the studio. "Sister, unhand her at once," Starfire cried, hovering midair, her eyes glowing emerald. Right behind her, materializing through a shimmering pink mist, was Jinx. "Looks like someone's causing trouble again," Jinx said with a smirk, her hands crackling with pink energy. Blackfire rolled her eyes. "Oh, for the love of X Hall. Must you always arrive at the most inconvenient moments, little sister?" She turned back to Terry Jo, who looked like she was about to faint. "It seems our lesson will have to be postponed, darling. For now."
No. Window, not windows. Let it fix that, y'all. A window is just fine.
"Hey, big sis, catch," Jinx yelled, a mischievous grin spreading across her face. With a flick of her wrist, a massive, glowing pink snowball materialized and rocketed towards Blackfire, striking her squarely in the chest. Blackfire stumbled backward, a look of shocked indignity on her face. Before Blackfire could retaliate, Starfire swooped in, moving with incredible speed. Her emerald eyes blazed as she locked onto her sister. With a powerful, almost effortless motion, she grabbed Blackfire by the shoulders. Blackfire let out a startled gasp as Starfire's raw super strength took hold. "Sister, your reign of terror ends now," Starfire declared, her voice filled with a rare intensity. With a mighty heave, she spun around and launched Blackfire across the studio. Blackfire sailed through the air like a rag doll, smashing through the large, plate glass window of the studio with a deafening crash. Shards of glass exploded outwards, showering the street below as Blackfire disappeared from view, leaving behind a gaping hole and a sudden, chilling breeze.
I don't know if you guys can do this, but I'm gonna put it in a story. Jinx surveyed the shattered window with a sigh.
Honestly, some people just have no respect for property. With a graceful sweep of her hand, a shimmering pink light emanated from her fingertips, swirling and coalescing. The broken shards of glass began to levitate, reforming and knitting themselves back together as if in reverse, until the large studio window was perfectly whole again, not even a crack marring its surface. "I'll go after her," Starfire declared, already zooming towards the now intact window. Instead of waiting for it to open, she simply flew straight through the wall next to it, leaving a Starfire-shaped hole as she burst out into the Jump City.
Let's fix that.
Ugh, what a mess, Jinx muttered, surveying the shattered window. She raised her hands, and a shimmering pink light emanated from her palms. The broken shards of glass began to swirl, reforming and fusing together until, with a soft hum, the window was perfectly restored, as if nothing had ever happened. There, good as new. The pursuit. Starfire didn't wait. She must not escape, she declared, soaring out of the newly repaired window and into the Jump City skyline. Jinx, not far behind, blasted out the door. Her hoverboard materialized.
Thank you. Get it right, Gemini. Get it right.
Jinx surveyed the shattered window. Ugh, a mess. My specialty, she muttered, then raised her hands. Pink energy swirled, shimmering, and with a soft whoop,
I would never clean up one of these plates. I'm leaving. Hey!
The broken glass reformed itself, leaving the window looking as good as new. Starfire, meanwhile, was already rocketing out the studio's main doors, not even pausing to look back at the repaired window. "Sister, prepare yourself," she called out as she shot into the Jump City skyline. Jinx, with a mischievous grin, followed close behind, launching herself through the same doors. They spotted Blackfire, still disoriented from her unexpected exit, hovering unsteadily above the street. "Ready, Jinx?" Starfire called. "Born ready," Jinx replied, her hands glowing. Together, they unleashed a combined assault. Starfire fired a powerful starbolt, a blinding green energy blast, while Jinx simultaneously launched a barrage of pink hex bolts. The twin attacks struck Blackfire full force, sending her spiraling downwards into a stunned heap on the asphalt below. Starfire wasted no time. She swooped down, pulling out a pair of anti-power cuffs from a pouch on her belt. With a quick snap, she secured them around Blackfire's wrists. "This should keep you from causing any more mischief, sister," Starfire declared firmly. With Blackfire subdued, Starfire then flew back towards the studio, opting for the door this time, with Jinx close behind. As Starfire and Jinx re-entered the studio, Terry Jo was still sitting wide-eyed, looking at the gaping hole in the window, which was now magically repaired thanks to Jinx. Wendy Williams, cautiously poking her head out from backstage, finally emerged, her face a mixture of fear and outrage. Is that weirdo gonna get jumped in prison? Wendy demanded, pointing a shaky finger towards the now empty street where Blackfire had just been cuffed. Because if anyone deserves a good jumping, it's her, terrorizing my set like that. Starfire floated down, landing gently on the stage. Wendy, please calm yourself, she said, her voice soothing but firm. My sister, Blackfire, will be taken to a secure facility. The anti-power cuffs ensure she cannot use her abilities. And no, she will not be jumped in prison. The system ensures all inmates are treated with appropriate security protocols, even those as difficult as Blackfire. Jinx, standing beside Starfire, added with a smirk. Besides, who'd be brave enough to try and jump her, even without her powers? She's still Blackfire. Wendy, though still a bit rattled, seemed...
That's true, but even without her powers, who'd be brave enough to try and jump her, even without her powers, she's still Blackfire. That's true, because Blackfire can still fight hand-to-hand combat. And I imagine her being quite deadly with... she's playing on alien martial arts, so I imagine her being quite deadly with her hands.
To accept Starfire's explanation. Well, as long as she's gone for good, she muttered, before turning her attention back to Terry Jo. Now, Terry, honey, about that segment we were doing.
I'll put that in.
And so, with Blackfire safely contained and the Wendy Williams show slowly returning to its chaotic normal, the strange interlude in Jump City came to a close. Terry Jo, ever the adaptable media personality, probably found a way to spin the entire alien encounter into a viral TikTok series. Grading a crazy day for Jinx and Starfire. Let's break down Jinx and Starfire's crazy day, giving them a grade based on their performance. Jinx truly shone today. She was quick thinking, witty, and effective. Blasting Blackfire with a snowball was a brilliant and unexpected move that disoriented their powerful foe. Her magic to instantly repair the shattered window showed incredible control and utility, preventing further damage and likely a huge cleanup bill for the studio. She worked seamlessly with Starfire, demonstrating excellent teamwork. The only reason she's not getting a perfect A is that, while she participated in the final blast, Starfire was the primary one to physically subdue and cuff Blackfire. Starfire...
Just getting in a physical brawl with Blackfire should die.
A. Starfire was an absolute powerhouse. Her immediate response to Wendy's desperate call for help showed her unwavering dedication to protecting others. She arrived quickly with Jinx, demonstrating great leadership. Her use of super strength to grab and hurl Blackfire through the window was a decisive and impactful move, showcasing her raw power. Crucially, she ensured Blackfire was properly subdued with the anti-power cuffs, prioritizing public safety. Her explanation to Wendy about Blackfire's incarceration also showed maturity and responsibility. A top-tier performance all around. Overall, it was a fantastic day for this dynamic duo. They handled a major threat with efficiency, teamwork, and impressive displays of their powers.
Has she ever said anything about Wendy?
Based on the information available, here are two things Wendy Williams said about Ellen DeGeneres. 1. 19 years on TV.
Fix that.
tricky to find direct quotes from Ellen DeGeneres about Wendy Williams on her show. The dynamic between them was often portrayed as a rivalry, and Wendy Williams frequently commented on Ellen's show, especially when the toxic workplace allegations came out. However, based on public interactions and the general perception of their relationship, here are two things Ellen might have implied or said that would be perceived as comments about Wendy, even if not directly on her show in a specific segment, but more generally in interviews or in response to questions about their perceived rivalry. 1. A general emphasis on positivity and kindness. Ellen's show often had the tagline, "Be kind," and she frequently emphasized this message. This could be seen as an implicit contrast to Wendy Williams' often more direct and sometimes critical Hot Topics segment. While not a direct statement about Wendy, it was a guiding principle of Ellen's brand that stood in opposition to Wendy's more confrontational style. 2. Addressing the toxic workplace allegations indirectly. When the allegations of a toxic work environment on The Ellen DeGeneres Show surfaced, Ellen addressed them publicly, often expressing confusion and sadness about the accusations. While she didn't name Wendy, Wendy Williams did comment on Ellen's situation, suggesting that Ellen's show exposed you for the person you really are, and that she believed Ellen was leaving because of the workplace conditions. Ellen's statements about her own show's environment and her surprise at the controversy could be seen as an indirect rebuttal to such public commentary from people like Wendy. You're very welcome.
Yep.
I'm glad I could help clarify. Is there anything else you'd like to discuss or know?
Wait, what else when you say about Oprah? Oprah, I can't say Oprah Winfrey, Oprah.
Wendy Williams once described her relationship with Tokyo Toni as, quote, big sister/motherly and science project. Wendy Williams made that comment when discussing her relationship with Blac Chyna, not Tokyo Toni. She described her relationship with Blac Chyna as big sister/motherly and science project during an interview. It appears she used the term science project to describe how she viewed Blac Chyna as someone she was fascinated by and observed, perhaps due to Blac Chyna's public life and reality TV appearances. The big sister/motherly part implies a protective and guiding role she felt towards Blac Chyna.
Why is he doing that?
You're right to ask for more context, bro. It's an interesting phrase. Wendy Williams used the term science project to describe Blac Chyna as someone she found fascinating to observe, analyze, and perhaps even predict. Think of it like this. Observation. Blac Chyna's life, relationships, and public persona were often very dramatic and played out in the media, reality TV, social media, headlines. Wendy, as a talk show host known for her Hot Topics segment, thrived on discussing and dissecting celebrity lives. Analysis/prediction, a science project, involves studying something, looking for patterns, and trying to understand how it works or what might happen next. Wendy seemed to view Blac Chyna's life in a similar way. She was a subject of intense public scrutiny, and Wendy, from her talk show chair, was observing and commenting on her experiments in life. So while Big Sister/Motherly suggests a caring or guiding aspect, Science Project adds a layer of detached, almost academic fascination with Blac Chyna's very public and often tumultuous journey. It highlights Wendy's role as a commentator who was keenly interested in the unfolding experiment of Blac Chyna's celebrity.
Oh, wow. Oh. I say Yanks. I think you know me. I mean, thanks.
You're welcome. Glad I could help clarify that. Is there anything else you're curious about or would like to discuss?
Sure.
Without a doubt, Invisible Woman, Sue Storm Richards, is far more known for creating and manipulating force fields than Scarlet Witch. Here's why. Invisible Woman's primary power, force fields and invisibility, are the core of Invisible Woman's power set. She creates invisible psionic force fields that she can use for a vast array of offensive and defensive purposes. Shields, barriers, constructs, pushing/pulling objects, trapping enemies, even creating invisible weapons. It's what she's famous for. Scarlet Witch's diverse powers, Scarlet Witch, while incredibly powerful, uses a much broader range of abilities, primarily focused on chaos magic, reality warping, energy manipulation, and telekinesis. While she can generate energy blasts and force fields as a part of her energy manipulation, it's not her signature ability, or something she relies on as consistently or as intricately as Invisible Woman does. Her force fields are often a more generalized magical defense, rather than the hyper-specific versatile constructs Sue creates. So if you're thinking about a character whose powers revolve around consistently pulling up force fields, Invisible Woman is definitely the answer. You're absolutely right to emphasize the live-action aspect too. In live-action adaptations, the difference in how they utilize force fields is even more pronounced. Invisible Woman, Fantastic Four films. Her force fields are consistently depicted as her primary defensive and offensive tool. We see her creating tangible, often visible, due to artistic choice for the audience to see them, barriers, platforms, and even concussive blasts. It's a key visual element of her power. Scarlet Witch, MCU. While Wanda does use energy shields and can manipulate energy to create protective bursts, her powers are generally more focused on telekinesis, energy blasts, and later, reality warping and direct magical manipulation. Her force fields are usually more like a brief, concentrated burst of energy to deflect an attack, rather than the sustained, versatile constructs that Invisible Woman creates. The visual effects for Wanda are more about swirling red energy, whereas Sue's are often clearer, more defined barriers. So yes, even in live action, when you think of someone pulling up force fields, Invisible Woman comes to mind much more readily than Scarlet Witch. Glad I could help with the info.
Gwen could be more popular than her. You never know. Oh, never mind. It makes sense. I don't know why I thought.
Yes, when it comes to being known for creating and manipulating force fields, Invisible Woman, Sue Storm Richards, is significantly more popular and iconic than Gwen Tennyson. Here's why. Core power versus broader magic. For Invisible Woman, force fields are one of her two fundamental defining powers, the other being invisibility. Her entire combat style and strategic utility revolve around their diverse applications. For Gwen Tennyson, force field creation is one ability within her broader magical/mana manipulation power set. While she can create them, it's not the singular focus or the most defining aspect of her abilities in the way it is for Sue.
Yeah.
Legacy and mainstream recognition, the Fantastic Four, and by extension Invisible Woman, have been a cornerstone of Marvel Comics for decades, appearing in countless comics, animated series, and multiple live-action films. This gives Sue Storm a much longer and more widespread history of showcasing her force field abilities to a global audience. While Ben 10 is very popular, especially with younger audiences, the franchise's overall mainstream recognition for force field powers specifically isn't on the same level as the Fantastic Four's. Visual distinction. Sue's force fields are often visually distinct, sometimes clear, sometimes shimmering, highlighting their solid, tangible nature. Gwen's mana constructs can include force fields, but they are part of a wider range of glowing pink/magenta energy manifestations. So while Gwen Tennyson certainly can use force fields effectively, Sue Storm's identity is inextricably linked to them, making her the more popular and renowned character for that specific power. Wendy Williams, known for her Hot Topic segment, often had opinions on popular and controversial figures, and Jake Paul certainly fit that description. While finding an exact, definitive quote from her show can be like finding a needle in a haystack, especially since her show is no longer on air, the general sentiment from her past comments about Jake Paul often revolved around his controversial antics. Wendy would frequently discuss Jake Paul's various controversies, including his pranks, feuds, and legal issues. She often expressed a mix of amusement and disapproval, framing him as a provocateur seeking attention. His boxing career. When Jake Paul transitioned into boxing, Wendy often commented on his fights, expressing surprise at his success or questioning the legitimacy of his opponents. She seemed to view it as part of his overall strategy to stay relevant in the public eye. His clout chasing, a common theme in Wendy's commentary on many internet personalities, was their pursuit of clout or attention.
Oh my God.
She likely applied this lens to Jake Paul, seeing his actions as calculated moves for fame and engagement. So while I can't pull up a single, exact quote like Wendy Williams said X about Jake Paul on Y Date, you can infer that her comments would generally align with the public perception of Jake Paul as a controversial, attention-seeking figure, whose antics provided plenty of material for her Hot Topics.
I bet he replied. I bet he replied. I don't know how to say it. Gave her plenty of entertainment to talk about.
You're very welcome. If you have any more questions about pop culture, specific figures, or anything else, just let me know.
Alrighty. Guys, make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. Have a good day. I mean, June 15th is already tomorrow. Like, 14 gonna be gone. See ya.